You're listening to Viking Radio, coming to you from Dream Street Studios at Del Mar College. Now your host, Dr. Natalie Chapa.
Good morning, Corpus Christi. Hope everybody is having a great morning here in the Coastal Bend. I'm Dr. Natalie Chapa with you, and we have also, as usual, Mr. Michael Bratton, Mike B.
Good morning, Dr. Chapa.
Good morning.
Our guests just get better and better.
Right? So I'm very excited about this one because this is a dear friend of mine, my compadre, my sister from another mister.
All the things.
All the things. Miss Patty Clark, President CEO of Metro Ministries here in Corpus Christi. Welcome, Patty.
Good morning,
Welcome.
and thank you for having me. Delighted.
So it's funny, Mike, when I don't know why, but every time I go to text Patty, it comes up as party. I don't know. It just always
It's a true
does.
story.
And
It's a true story.
So now I'm just like, is Party going to be there?
Because without her.
Is Party coming?
This is true. Would you like for me to show you the text chains? No.
So for those of you out there who know Miss Patty Clark, she has been a servant leader in this community for a long time. You've been with Metro Ministries for how long?
You know, I have been with Metro Ministries for 14 years.
Okay.
Wow.
Feels like the blink of an eye. Yeah.
And there's so much important work that is going on there. And Mike and I have been talking a lot with just community leaders all over. And we're wanting to stay positive
Absolutely.
in the face of the challenges that are just kind of going on right now with our city, you know, the things that all of our leaders are dealing with water and other major issues. But we have to keep going. We have to keep moving forward. And that is you to a T. You're a positive person all the time.
I am. You know, I come by that naturally. My siblings referred to my mother as the girl who carried the sunshine umbrella. She approached each day in a positive way. You know, you can just smile as easy as a frown, so why not smile? So that's kind of the attitude that I grew up with, and just it tends to stick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, are there some awful things going around? Of course, but let's not focus on that. I think that's a really great correlation between the way I've seen Del Mar evolve over the years that I've lived here and the way Metro Ministries has evolved over the years that I've lived here and watched it and then had the honor of, you know, being at the helm for the last 14 years.
Thank you for that. So I know a lot of our audience members are very familiar with Metro Ministries. I think the name out there is pretty solid, but they may not always know what all the factors are at Metro Ministries. Talk to everybody about the services that are being provided there right now.
You know, because we have so many varied services, they might know them by the names of their areas of interest. Our Loaves and Fishes cafeteria, free lunch and dinner
Loaves
Monday
and
through
Fishes.
Friday.
Free lunch and dinner Monday through Friday.
It's a plated meal, and in today's world of food insecurity, it's really important to know where you can get a served meal. It's great if you know, local churches and food banks have pantry boxes, but you don't always have a pantry to take it home to prepare the meal. So that served meal is so important, especially for our families and in the summertime when the kids are home from school and maybe not part of a program that feeds them through the school year. We can fill that gap during the summer. So right now we're looking at anywhere between 1,200 to 1,350 free meals Monday through Friday.
Wow.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And then on the other side of our tiny little postage stamp campus, we have our Gabbard Clinic that is free health care Monday through Friday, no appointment necessary. Just tell us what your need is, and we'll do everything we can to meet it. And that, you know, during COVID, we were the only free clinic that stayed open. And we saw our patient numbers double and thought, well, I'm so glad we're here, you know, that people have a place to come. And when I'm air quoting, things return to normal, they will go back to wherever they came from to start with. But that did not happen.
They've stayed.
So they've stayed. And a lot of that is about the dignity that they find with us. You know, we're not questioning everything about them, just what hurts. How can we help? And so we try to offer that triumvirate of spiritual, physical, and mental health, you know, to wrap around holistically, whether they're receiving a meal at Loaves and Fishes, getting treated at Gabbard Clinic, using our Vineyard Social Services. And that's where Del Mar comes in because we see so many people that need a do-over.
Yeah.
And, you know,
and
that's a
we are
do-over.
in. That is what we're in
We
the
are
business
simpatico,
of.
yeah.
The do-over. Your
Right.
third, fourth, fifth, or sixth chance. Del Mar is
Yes.
here.
I mean, we've had so many come over here from our direction to, go look. There are more than 65 trades courses offered at Del Mar. So whatever you thought you might want to do, you can do that here. And our program is, if you choose to live with us, you can stay for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Free of charge. You just have to be a good citizen. You have to be going to school or be employed and saving your money. So if they choose to do a program at Del Mar, that's usually a 2-year, and they can stay with us rent-free for all that time. And then they can graduate from that point to go on to a reimagined life.
That's amazing.
It is amazing, and it's just so fulfilling, when we see people, the quotes I see floating around right now are, if they want to, they would. If people want to change, they can, but it's very hard. And we sometimes get folks that really want to, but there's so many barriers in their way. So we kind of work with them on what we call bless and release. If you're not ready for what our program looks like, we release you with love and wait until you're ready to return, because we can't be working harder for it than you are.
Right. There has to be some.
It's got to be
reciprocal
ownership. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's amazing, because there's so many people in this community who just need the help. And Mike, I know you and I have talked about how hard it is sometimes for somebody to ask for help.
I think
a lot
about
of pride involved sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yes, the pride.
I talk about that someone puts their hand on the handle of our door 7,000 times a year. And sometimes it's just for a hygiene kit, but other times it's to say, I've lost it all. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I don't even know how to start a conversation about what my need is. So 7,000 times a year, our door will open by someone who's had to make that step. And you're right. It's a very prideful thing. It's hard to admit where they are, and it's hard to even dream about where they want to go. But we're the safe place. We're a soft landing spot for people, and if they want to, they will.
That's amazing. I would like to know, where do you get that from? Where do you get that passion from?
I will tell you, I've never suffered a moment in my upbringing where I wondered where a meal would come from. I never wondered if my parents would be home. I've never wondered if my house would be cool or warm, because I was so fully loved. I was raised in a house of faith. I know who my Savior is. I know we're called to be the hands and feet in service in this world. And you just don't move away from that. You might stray a little bit, and your path might get a little bit crooked, but you come back to that. And again, my upbringing was it didn't feel unique at the time. I'm a child of the 50s and 60s. And that familial support, but there was also an expectation, whether it was through your schoolwork or through your church work or service organizations, you would serve. That's what you're called to do.
And you had a village around you.
Absolutely.
It was just part of your family, built in, school, church.
And all those friends of my parents that you didn't dare get in trouble outside the house because mother would get a phone call.
God.
They would know it before you got home.
I would get in trouble for things that I didn't do.
But
I'm like, that wasn't
that
me.
wasn't me, Mommy.
My mom worked at the bank in Orange Grove.
Oh, boy.
With, I think there was about 10 other women, and it was like having 10 mothers watching me constantly. I'm like, this is so not fair.
No, but what a
it
gift.
was a gift, but at the time.
It didn't feel much like
it did
one.
not feel like a gift.
Yeah. So that's a long answer, Mike, but I think you just have to choose to be happy. And I think you have to choose to be positive and make a difference, because somebody's got to do it.
Well, and when you're in crisis, the world shifts. Your focus is shifted, right? It's very narrow, because, like you said, if your electricity is off, or if there's not enough money for food, your focus gets very narrow. And then, if it continues, if it goes on day after day after day, you end up in a place where people end up on your doorstep. And so that's what I was just wondering as you were talking. How do people get to you?
Word of mouth is still the greatest
Really?
communication
Okay.
tool around. Word passes on the street about, hey, well, you can get a meal down there. You can get individualized case management. They'll work with you, but boy, are they tough about making you do what you say you're going to do. Well, that's the tough love, but that's the expectation. If you live in our residential program, you have to be at work or school. You have to save money because all of our services are free. And thanks to the community, we can offer that. But we're trying to remove all barriers for somebody saying, no, I can't. And if we remove those financial barriers, they can. And a successful graduate is somebody who's saved money. Their name is on a lease somewhere, and they have saved money. We require a 70-30 plan. Whatever revenue you have coming in, 70% of that has to be put in a savings account with a local bank. And you get financial literacy added to that on how to save your money. Because, to your point, people that are living in crisis every day, whatever they have today, if their friend who's in crisis needs that money, they give it to them.
Yes.
Because they need it more today than they did.
Yes.
But then tomorrow comes, and now
Right.
you need it and you don't have it.
Yes.
So we have to teach people either for the first time or relearning how to save your money, how to become self-sufficient for you. And that's what a successful graduate looks like. And we've had some shining stars and we've had some who miserably fail. Doesn't matter. Just put your hand on the door, tell us what you need, and we're going to work with you to get where you need to go.
And I know over the years we've talked about you have been personally just extremely supportive of some of the kiddos that go through. And you have had some children who end up really in the foster system because they can stay with you.
Right. Well, they have to have turned 18.
They turn 18, but then they head off to college.
And you always give me goosey bumpies to talk about our very first young lady who was a product of Corpus Christi and came out of the foster system because the foster family told her at 18, we're done and you're on your own. And she came to us with absolutely nowhere to go. She was very smart. Her solace had come in her studies. She'd gotten herself accepted to Texas State University. So we were her nonas, we were her tias, we were her grandmas to get her ready, not only for her high school graduation, but to get her to college at Texas State. I attended her undergraduate ceremony in December of 2020. Everybody was masked and sitting in a giant stadium, but we were there to see that. And then in 2024, she graduated with her master's degree from Texas State University. She is now the grants director at Texas State University.
Is she?
Yes,
I didn't
she
know
is.
that.
That's fairly new.
Oh, that gives me goosebumps.
I know, a little goosebumps.
Wow.
I got a text from her a couple of months ago, and she said, do you by any chance know anybody who might want to give a girl the same frame for her master's that she was given for her undergraduate?
Do you know a Thea like that?
Know anybody? And I'm like, I think I might. So, we will very proudly sponsor that for her so she can have them both on her college job office wall. And she is a tremendous success because of who she is.
And you've got some staff, I would assume that when somebody walks in to your space, again, they're in a really, really rough spot, probably a rougher spot that I've ever been in. And I've been in some pretty rough ones. But your team have so much empathy and compassion.
It's amazing. I don't know what well they draw from because, my gift is not in being that person in front of them. I'm out there to create relationships, to keep the doors open and keep the programs going. But those front office people just have very special personalities and hearts for the underserved. And they're always so patient. Although, if you don't do as you say you were going to do, they'll have that really frank conversation with you. And sometimes the person wants to be ready, but our case manager can say, you're not. Here's what I want to see you do over the next 2 or 3 months. And if you can do that, then come back to me and let's talk about coming into the program. Yeah. And so would we like to take every single person?
Sure.
Yes, but you can't. And the reality of it is they can know if you're ready or not.
So you could be staying at Metro, and but then also, like you said, you need to be enrolled or doing something.
Right.
We'll be right back.
This is where you want to be, to dream, to grow, to graduate and succeed. This is Oso Creek Campus at Del Mar College, home to core classes and signature programs with cutting-edge labs and state-of-the-art facilities. This is a place of innovation, transformation, and support. This is your time, your future. This is where you belong. Learn more at dmcdreams.com.
This show is a production of Del Mar College, where if you already hold an associate's degree, you can earn a bachelor's degree online in organizational management and leadership. Come own your dreams at Del Mar College. Learn more at delmar.edu/BAS. This is Viking Radio.
And again, we are here with Miss Patty Clark, our president and CEO of Metro Ministries, or as I like to call her, Party.
We don't have enough time today for all of those stories.
Margaritas, mimosas.
Perhaps. He's been reading my text chain.
But you could essentially live at Metro.
Yes.
But you could also be attending Del Mar College, A&M Corpus. You could be, as long as you are moving towards
Correct.
a path and a direction.
Correct. A lot of people are barely hanging on out in community, and you can still be our client. And we can help you connect to your skills and trades courses here. We can help you connect to transportation. And so you can be like a community client, but a resident who lives with us, they have a different level of expectation.
Mm-hmm.
They have chores to do. They have hours to be into the residence. They have to maintain employment. They have to save money, and they have to put their name. We ask everyone who comes into our program to register with public housing, because the reality of it is that most of the people that come to us are not going to be homeowners. If they can just sustain, a safe place to live, that's a great goal.
And right now,
Oh.
a lot of people don't have that opportunity to be homeowners. It's a challenging time
It's
to own
very
a home.
challenging, and
And so,
that word affordable housing gets thrown around a lot, but that's not really what's in the future for most of the people who come to us.
I've been in a situation where just getting an apartment was an accomplishment.
Right.
yes,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
If we can get you connected to public housing and you are a good citizen, you may remain there for a very, very long time. So it's a little daunting when you first log on to the public housing website to register. It feels like you're in the Beetlejuice waiting room. Now serving number 6,432,000. It's, we just have to tell them.
I mean, there's a lot of need out there.
It's going to look daunting, but there really aren't that many people. I've seen people get public housing in less than 6 months. I've seen them take up to 2 years. And of course, the greater need you have, i.e. number of children you have, pushes you to the top of the list. But you have to work it. You have to go in and refresh all the time. And some of these things that feel like a routine that is what we would be expected to do is just an otherworldly experience for so many people who come to us who haven't had access, who haven't known how to move through processes. So sometimes it's just about learning a routine.
Mm-hmm. What has been the most challenging for you now? So Metro's been around for a long time.
43 years.
And you're, always having to reinvent, we were talking when you first got here, grants.
Yes.
The writing of grants.
It's
a constant, really a dedication to keeping the lights on and keeping the services going.
It is. And things have changed a lot over the years that I've been there, and of course the years before I came there. The way the programs looked 14 years ago is not the way they look today.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that in that we've had to expand what we do because what we see is a greater need, again, for that triumvirate of care, your physical, spiritual, and mental health in a holistic approach. You can't be well in one and not be well in the others. They all have to be working together, and that's what we understand. So revenues are down. We see that kind of across the board for a lot of nonprofits. Philanthropy has changed, and that is a bit of a struggle to find your audience. So, Mike, when you were asking me how do I do that? How would I have that attitude about service? That's what I was raised with. But there's not as much of that focus on service unless you happen to be that family that has always been raised that way and you continue to do things that way. But it's just not as resonant as it used to be as, oh, I need to be in public service. I need to be a servant leader. I need to reach out. So, you have to find other ways to engage donors, to understand who you are and what you're doing.
So really telling the story.
Really telling the story.
That gets people who don't live it every day.
Correct.
Who go home and don't worry about it. They might see somebody outside or standing in line, but it doesn't affect them day to day. How do you get that individual?
Well, and we also have many community clients that they may have a place to live, but it doesn't mean their utilities are on. It doesn't mean that they have a refrigerator to put food in. So that's why it's
or an oven or
an
stove.
Oven.
Yeah.
It's barely hanging on out there. And so it's not unusual for us to have a mom come to the door that needs shampoo for her 4 children or diapers for the little one or just hygiene in general. And the hot commodity right now is washcloths and socks. Because the washcloths can be a washcloth, but they can also, cool the neck, cool the head, put it under their hats so they use it as a sunscreen. It's living on the street and living barely in community is very difficult. And we just keep seeing more and more. And we had this conversation with our kitchen manager recently about, tell me about who we're seeing. Because I don't care if you come in and register with me as Prince Charming and Snow White. I just need a way to count the number of meals I'm serving you because I have to give that to the people who fund our programs. But sometimes if you're not a good actor, you can't come inside and stay. But we will always pass a sandwich bag out the back door to you. Everyone deserves a meal, even if they're not a good citizen.
You seem like the kind of a person who has the patience of a saint.
I don't think my children would say that.
Have you ever,
Donnie, I think she's talking to you if you're listening out there.
have you encountered anyone who you have just lost your patience with?
I've always had to go inside. When I've had that, and for me, it comes from a place of fear that my staff could get hurt. That's our first thing. You cannot be threatening to our staff. That will get you barred from service right away. It's just, it's my job to protect my folks. It's their job to serve those coming to be served. But if you're going to mess with my staff, it's like Mama Bear. We can't do that. But I was told long ago, you need to go inside. Let us handle this.
Somebody get Mama Bear inside.
Get her inside. I'm a pretty patient person. Again, my children wouldn't agree with that. And like everybody says, once you become a grandparent, your children are like, who are you? So I have 8 grandchildren.
Really?
Yes, I do. And I'm particularly close to the ones who live here, but close to all of them. And that is a great blessing. And speaking of children, grandchildren, when people see the homeless on the street, they tend to look away. They don't want to see that. But I would ask you to look at that person just for 2 seconds. Try to make eye contact for 2 seconds. And remember that person is someone's baby. No parent ever rocked their child and saw homelessness in their future. Even if it was theirs, they didn't see it for their child. So just that giving the humanity back to that person. And when they come through the line to be served, and our volunteers who are exceptional and our staff who are just amazing can call each person by name. That is the sweetest sound in all the world, is your name being spoken. And they will say, gosh, no one's spoken my name in 10 years. Or I was stepping over a gentleman who was sitting outside, and I didn't care. He said, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, you're fine. He said, I'm fine. No one's told me I'm fine in my whole life. I mean, I think it was a joke, but
Right, but
there's a kernel of truth in that as well. So am I patient? I'm patient in many, many ways until I'm afraid that my staff is in danger. And that has happens so rarely. So rarely. Most people are pretty good.
What is one catalyst, one challenge that you're seeing, in your experience, what's one thing you would remove from the world to help folks if you could? One cause, one thing that leads to catastrophe.
Indifference.
Mm-hmm.
People being indifferent because it isn't touching their life.
Again, going back to the not looking at somebody or
Not looking at
or it
someone.
not affecting you directly. And
But it
so,
does. There's a ripple effect, and it's kind of like that little pebble we chunk in the lake. It looks like a small pebble to us, but by the time it gets to the other side, it could be a tsunami for someone else.
Mm.
And so you have to. I think you have to think about that. And if we could remove the indifference that I don't know anything about that person is worthless. They're not worthless. They're lost. And some can be found and some can't, but we continue to serve those who want to come.
So if you're out there and you're an audience member and you're like, okay, that sounds like I want to volunteer. Who do they call? How do they contact Metro Ministries?
We have a great website, ccmetro.org. Great pull-down tabs that can tell you a lot of things about what's going on in the life of Metro.
Okay.
And there's a volunteer application.
Okay, ccmetro.org.
Correct. So just go online, fill that out, submit it to us.
And I was looking at your website, and I was reading about your different services. I think there's 5 of them, and I started thinking, how is one lady managing all this?
Oh, it's not one
How
lady.
do you do that? Where do you get the time?
It's a fantastic team. I have the best development director in town,
Christina.
Christina Griffith. I have the most amazing controller ever, Erica Post. My facilities supervisor is Johnny Martinez, and if there's another angel on earth, I don't know one. My kitchen manager, Mr. Zambelli, came out of the military. So if you wanted to eat from our kitchen floor, you could, but you don't have to.
I have been in that kitchen.
It's amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
3 full-time staff in the kitchen. Jennifer Lindsay is our nurse practitioner who has such a capacity for teaching and training. We have volunteer physicians. We have nursing students from the university. We have people from the health department come and work with her. She mentors young people thinking about medical careers. You're called to this work. You truly have to be called to this work and the people that we serve. And then our front desk, that's Miss Stephanie, and our case manager is Miss Stephanie. 2 Stephanies up front, sometimes a challenge, but they both have such an understanding and heart and patience. Those are the people that have the patience. And then our residential supervisors who are in the houses overnight. And so we have a full-time staff, I think, 15 or 16. I have an outstanding board of directors and wonderful field of volunteers. And there's no way I could do it alone. And I am surrounded by great people. And I'm not going to micromanage anybody.
Yeah, you do have an amazing staff.
I do.
And thank you, though, for your leadership. You and I met through Leadership Corpus Christi,
did.
which the overarching, right, kind of emphasis of Leadership Corpus Christi is servant leadership.
Servant leadership.
And I'm so glad that I get to meet you and spend time with you.
Thank you.
And we're going to hang out later.
We're going to hang out later.
Party later.
Yeah, and
I'm hanging out with
Party.
Party.
Will party. But thank you for having me come on and talk about, the evolving of nonprofits, Del Mar College. And, we have to look down the road to see what the future is showing us and respond to that. Just because we've always sliced the bread one way doesn't mean we can't learn to slice it another.
That's right.
Because that's the way we learn to serve.
Well, thank you for being on the show with
You're
us.
welcome.
Thanks, Patty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's have a phenomenal rest of the day. Corpus Christi, enjoy living on the coast, and we'll see you tomorrow.
This show is a production of Del Mar College. Follow us on Spotify at Viking Radio.